everybody? Welcome back to Dirty Shore Underground bonus episodes. If you're looking for Walking Dead, obviously by now you should know it's over with until October. But, throw the extra word in front, now we got Fear the Walking Dead and more zombies.
Yes, indeed. Make sure you're checking out DirtyShoreUnderground.com for all the newest episodes. New episodes of the podcast every Thursday, bonus episodes either Monday or Tuesday. As you said, we finished up with our Walking Dead up until October. But we are continuing on with the first 8 episodes of the half season, I suppose, Fear the Walking Dead for the next few weeks. So make sure you're joining us for the bonus episodes of those. Make sure you're following at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's where you can get all the latest information, including links to the live stream. We live stream every single episode at youtube.com/C/Dirty Shore UG-OTA. Make sure you scroll down to the bottom to the comment section, comment, ask your questions, be a participant in the podcast. Just keep in mind there's a little bit of a delay, so you have to give some context about what you're talking about. So otherwise, this is your spoiler alert. We're going to be discussing Season 2, Episode 1 of Fear the Walking Dead. We will probably get into a bit of Season 1 and probably a bit of The Walking Dead as well, since you wanted Rick to come across the radio, talk to Laurie or whatever it was that you were thinking would happen.
It would have been interesting.
So, I missed the first story of the year. I missed the first 8 minutes of the episode. So what exciting thing did I miss in the first 8 episodes? Catch everybody up in case they missed it.
Basically, it was just fighting on the beach with zombies. Wow.
So, well, let's go back, I guess, a little earlier than that. Because I forgot where the season ended. And I kind of didn't remember. So, season ended with Trevor's ex-wife, on the cliffs there by the bay or whatever, and Madison comes down to talk to her, and she asks Madison to do what she promised to do, which was if either of them got bit, that they would off the other one, essentially. And then she reveals what we'd known for a few episodes, which is she had been bitten at some point. Was it in the kitchen? Is that where we decided it was that she got bit?
Yeah.
Like she slid the thing across the table, and that's where she got bit. So, we're on the cliffside, and she asks Madison to do it, and Madison takes the gun. She can't do it. Trevor comes down. He does it, which obviously causes a bit of an issue with his son, who all of a sudden knows is that his dad killed his mom, even though they're not together. Well, it would be bad in any event. But, so, from there, we saw that, God, what is his name? Stedman? I want to call him Stedman. It's not Stedman. The guy who owns the boat, who made it very clear that he owns the boat.
The black guy.
Don't, listen, I'm colorblind. I don't see anybody's color.
He's the token black guy.
I don't see color at all. I am completely colorblind. The rainbow is nothing to me.
I don't either, but he is the token black guy right now.
And my phone apparently doesn't want to load anything. So, I want to say Stedman. Well, I'll correct myself in just a second here, as soon as I can get... there we go. Victor Strand. As soon as Strand... he gives us a little exposition, and they point to the boat, and he says, "That's my boat. That's where we're going." Gunshot, and season over. And now we're left with the we know that Trevor's killed his wife. His wife's whose name is...
Actually, you said you didn't think it was him that did it in the last podcast last season.
See, I don't even remember. I should have re-listened to the podcast. But I guess they don't mention his wife. Who's his wife? It's none of the people who are on here. Griselda is actually not a bad-looking lady for being an old lady. She plays a lot older than she actually is.
And a lot of them play a lot younger than they actually are. So
yeah.
Makeup, it does wonders.
So what it turns out is that they actually do. Clearly, Trevor did kill his wife. Clearly, Travis killed his wife.
So I was thinking,
got me thrown off.
I was thinking GTA 5, Walking Dead.
So Travis kills his wife, his ex-wife, and then they escape to the boat. But so all I remember is them on the seashore, gunshots, and we know we're going to Abigail. And Strand kept saying he needed to get to Abigail, and then we found out that Abigail was the boat, not a girl. So what happened in the first 8 minutes of the episode?
City was on fire, obviously. Zombies on the beach. Boat's too small to take everybody at one time, so first trip, and then the drug addict comes back with the boat. And you see them all fighting on the shore. It looked like Travis had got bit at one point.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I was like, as thick as those coats are, how would a zombie even be able to bite you? Because thinking like in Walking Dead, they were wrapping duct tape around their arms and shit.
And then we saw the Kingdom folks who were wearing the actual. It's not really body armor because it's not going to stop a bullet. It's more like hockey.
Paintball armor. Motocross protectors.
Gear, yeah, whatever it was. But enough that if a zombie bit you, they wouldn't be able to break through the plastic. So that it's enough protection from bites. It doesn't do anything from bullets. But that's why they're carrying a spear, because the world's changing.
And obviously they took the body with them, which slowed them down a good bit, and was probably the reason there was a little scuffle with the zombies on the beach to begin with.
Right. So there was no living people. It was just the zombies on the beach. And then they did that. Do you remember in math class in elementary school where you had to do that problem where you're like, you can't take the snake and the goat and the bear and all to the boat at the same, or across the river at the same time. So you have to go across the river and then back. How do you get everybody from one side of the river to the other? You don't remember that?
I never had that equation.
But
if I did, I probably failed.
Certain animals can't be in the boat at the same time. So like 2 animals go across. The boat's only big enough for 2, and you got to get 5 animals across. So 2 go across, 1 comes back. 2 go across, both of those get out. One of the other ones gets in and comes back. That one gets out. 2 more go across. Another one comes. It's very complicated. Anyway, that's what I'm seeing in my mind when you're like they're going back and forth to Abigail. So Flash says that. Well, let's start at the bottom. # socially acceptable racism. I guess when Kenny says
look. Some of my best friends are black. You've met Tony. You've had him on your show. So he's like a brother to me.
So I guess that makes it socially acceptable racism?
No, he would have said the same thing. That he's the token black guy.
So if you want to know what that means exactly, you need to check out the O The Anthem podcast, available at otheanthem.com. New episodes every Tuesday or whenever they get up. So make sure you do check that out. Speaking of which, we have 12 minutes left in the 9-hour render for the video. Good grief. And you can always support, this podcast is part of the proud member of the O The Anthem Digital Network, so make sure you support the O The Anthem Digital Network by 2 ways. First, by going to patreon.com/O The Anthem. That's patreon.com/O The Anthem. We've gotten new subscribers every week. For as little as $1 a month, you can join us and help support us to keep the lights on and keep all of these wonderful things going. Another great way to do that is to go on to dirtyshoreunderground.com, click on the Amazon link, and go shop on Amazon. Everybody's buying stuff on Amazon anyway. And if you're going to be shopping on Amazon, you can help out the podcast and the network simply by going and clicking through the link there. Costs you nothing extra, but Amazon as a thank you helps us out and gives us a little something. So 2 great ways to help out O The Anthem and the O The Anthem family here at Dirty Shore Underground. So.
Don't buy your vape shit from Amazon, though.
Right. And we'll touch on that a little later.
And not even because of that. A lot of this shit is janky shit. You'll be a statistic if you do.
It'll blow up in your face.
Yeah.
So, they all get on the boat, and now they're off. First of all, I love the complexities of actually shooting on a boat, because you can see whenever they tied the camera down to the boat, because everything seems very steady. Because whatever's moving, everybody's moving at the same rate. Even the steady cam wasn't enough to get rid of the boat moving, because it was like, woo, moving around. It made me a little seasick, actually. So, I don't know if that's what Karina, why she was nauseous either, because she was watching and got a little seasick. But other than that, I think that well, let me ask you this. What was your impressions of the episode as a whole? We've gotten them onto the boat. We know the boat's going to be kind of the motivating factor for the next couple episodes.
Slow start, but they left it with a cliffhanger, which is obviously going to make people come back next week.
Right.
Because now everybody needs to know what happens. Jack Sparrow shows up with his jar of dirt.
Hello, love. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
Why's the rum gone?
Where's all the rum gone? But again, it's like this show can't get out of the gate clean. The first episode, they stumbled out of the gate last season. And then it picked up in parts, and we liked it, and, we wanted to hang out till the end. And then the end got really good. This time, they stumbled out of the gate again. I just felt like it was so slow. And, I mean, we defended them. We defended Fear the Walking Dead last time. And we said, they're telling a story that we are already... They're learning about a world that we're already very conscious of. So, I get that there are going to be parts that are slow. Mm-hmm. But when you're having a conversation with your wife, and there are 30 seconds of silence between what everybody is saying, that is totally unnecessary. And when, he talks to his kid, and they're just, sitting there staring at each other for a minute, I'm like, cut that out! Cut that out! And keep the thing moving. And, honestly, I would watch The Talking Dead. Obviously, I'm not, because we have the superior after show here at Dirty Show Underground. But I would just want to ask the producer that. Why is it so damn slow?
I mean, I'm still going to give it the time because Walking Dead, even in season 2, it still had its rough patch going through the first half of the season. And it picked up right at the end of the first 8 episodes.
Right.
So.
Well, and I also, again, this is setup. We had to get them from the house onto the boat. Good. Now we have to set up who is going to be the big enemy. Last year, the enemy was simply just escape. The zombies were the enemies. We got to get out. We got to get out to safety. And it's the same recipe as The Walking Dead. Once you feel safe, then we throw you into craziness, and now we go find a new place.
And on a boat, that's different than what's ever been done in any zombie movie. So
right. So we're ground as far as that's concerned. That Alicia grabbed the goddamn radio.
Fucking pirates. Actually said, no, don't, it's fucking pirates.
Yes. No, don't, it's fucking pirates. Because I said, you can actually locate somebody on the ocean using a radio signal. If I know that you are moving at a constant rate or you're sitting still, all I have to do is figure out where your radio signal is coming from. And then I move, and I figure out where your radio signal is coming from again. You do that a couple times, and all of those lines out in the ocean will intersect at a place.
And that was showed in season 6 of Walking Dead, too.
Was it?
Yeah, that's how Rick and them found out where they were held up, remember?
That's true, yeah. So they've used that example before. But it's even easier on the ocean, because it's the signal travels farther, and you can figure out where people are. It's not bouncing off stuff. It's just right there. And she is having this weird sexting radio sex relationship with this strange dude. By the way,
things they did in the 40s.
Maybe so. Wasn't she in love with the boyfriend who died 3 days ago?
They showed the tattoo.
Yeah.
Although it could have been a week because the whole first season was time jumping. So
that's true. So we don't really know. But it hasn't been that long. But she's still got the pen on her.
Because she tattooed it into herself.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Oh. See, I don't remember her tattooing.
She was sitting there with the fucking needle at one point.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was a needle. I thought it was just a pen that she was redoing the tattoo. A jailhouse tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well. So now she's stuck with that, thinking about this rando dude who, now she's stuck with that fucking, you know what, just cut it out. It's a fucking zombie apocalypse. Hey, what are you going to do? But I said, don't do the radio because it's going to backfire. They're asking all the right questions. And here's what I know. That is exactly what I would have done. If I was on the other end of that radio, it's okay, be super friendly, but let me ask all the right questions to figure out about you. It's just me and a couple of my family members. They're slow. They're slowing us down. Everybody else is dead. We don't have any water. Do you have water? We don't have any food. Do you have food? We can't make Hawaii. How big's the boat you're on? And just ask all the right questions to figure out how many people, how big's the boat, what kind of boat, that kind of stuff. So.
And that boat sure did look like Davy Jones got a hold of it.
Well, yeah, so.
And then the Kraken finished it.
In the middle of the episode, kind of towards the end, we got to see the result of somebody else who was too friendly on the radio. P.S. Do yourself a favor. Go to IMDb and look up Water Zombie #1 in the list of the cast. The woman who is inside there, who looks so fucked up and attacks Nick in the boat, is super hot. The makeup people are insane. But so
You know how much harder that's got to be to do with them being in water too?
Yeah, because you have to make it waterproof. I mean, and I know they're in a tank or whatever, but still, like, it's got to be difficult to be like, okay, now you can't get your face wet. Yeah, but we're in water. You can't get your face wet. So you know that they couldn't tell them to just not get wet. So that had to be able to survive being in the water.
Super glue.
But so speaking of that, number one question that Flash asked at the top: do zombies swim? This question is going to rip this podcast apart. Kenny, do zombies swim?
They certainly try, God damn it. You won't let me have swimming, so I'm just going to say they certainly try.
You're allowed to have your opinion. Why is it that you think that zombies swim?
Well, I mean, if they're floating and their hands are moving, it makes them move even like this much.
That's swimming to you. Can you swim? Do you know how to swim?
Yes.
Okay, so what about what those things were doing looked like swimming?
And it was like a beginner swimmer. Someone that doesn't know what they're doing.
No, because those people like flail. They flail about. You know what I mean? They're not actually doing anything. What those zombies were doing was the dead man's float because, P.S., they were dead. And they were.
I've never been dead.
What's that?
I've never been dead.
Well, so they're dead doing a dead man's. You've never done a dead man's float before? They teach you to do that when you learn to swim. It's just taking a deep breath and laying face down, and then turning your head to the side, taking a breath, head to the side, taking a breath, and it means you're expending no energy, but you're staying afloat.
No, I was self-taught at 1 year old, 2 years old.
Okay, so you never learned that. I had swimming lessons for 5 years.
My uncle threw me in the pool and told me sink or swim.
I had swimming lessons for 5 years, which is why I swim like a fish. So Flash says Urban Decay has great waterproof makeup sealer. That might be it, but I feel like you need something a little more when you're going to be like fighting underwater. Because she and Nick were like right around the face, right where all the damage was. They were like fighting it out. So it's got to be something more than that. Shit, what was he saying?
And I can swim like a fish too while you think of what you're saying.
So it's not swimming though. The zombie was floating, and when Nick goes underneath it, it reaches out to him. It's just as if it's on land. Yes, maybe it was getting some movement because as it was reaching for him, it was moving, but it's incidental movement. It's just like I'm trying to think if the zombies were ever caught in mud. When they get caught in mud, when they get speared on a car, and then as people walk by, they're like. They're not going anywhere. They're just reaching out. They're trying to get to them.
They get an A for effort for trying.
So the answer to that question is no, zombies don't swim. They float, and certainly they may be able to move, but they move incidentally. They're not moving. They're not swimming towards him. They're reaching towards him, and that, in a way, moves in that direction.
Just try it.
A for effort.
I just want to think outside the box.
A for effort. So Flash says, I don't think Kenny knows how to swim. Maybe, maybe not. Also, when you first learn to swim doesn't mean you know how to swim. Throw a baby in the water sometime, they float, doesn't mean they can swim. Agreed. They do basically a version of the float, which is there's an inherent ability in humans to be able to hold your breath. So when if you toss a baby in the water, they'll automatically hold their breath even though they don't know what they're doing.
Well, I'm never going to toss a baby in the water. I'm not that cold-blooded.
I have done that before. I mean, I've taken babies in the pools before and like dunked them under and gotten them over the fear of the water.
Well, I've done that too, but I've never just...
Well, I would throw the baby in, but that's how you end up with a dead baby and a zombie baby, and we're trying to avoid that. But yeah, so the end of that discussion is that no, zombies can't swim. They can move in the water somewhat. They certainly float. And what we saw, because I think the best example is hot water zombie number 1, who only was holding on to the rope. So when Nick pulled the rope, she got pulled over next to him. But as soon as he like pushed off of her, she couldn't then get back to him. And he just basically looked at her and then swam away. So like clearly, I don't think that they could float. That there's obviously stuff going on.
You ever swim holding bricks?
Not bricks. No, I mean I've carried stuff in the water, but never bricks.
That's fun.
Sure.
I had a pool at my grandmother's house, and I would swim laps on bricks for more resistance in the water.
You like walk with bricks?
No, I swim.
How do you do an overhand motion with bricks?
Just side to side, holding the bricks.
That's not real swimming. Swimming is there's different styles, just like in the Olympics.
Just treading water.
Oh, you were treading water. Okay. All right. Well,
still staying above water, keep my head
that's
above
swimming.
water,
That's swimming.
and moving with the bricks.
Okay.
It's
So
also good weight training.
another question that Flash asked was about the family dynamic, that Freud would have a field day with this family. What kind of weird shit is going on inside this family unit? Like, is it Chris? Chris is the son.
Nick's about to get some.
Okay, so let's start with this. First, Chris, real pissed at his dad, punched his dad. I've been there, Chris. I've done that. Like, I've gotten into a boxing match. My dad didn't have the self-control that Travis had, because my dad just punched me right the fuck back, and eventually knocked my ass out, so that happened. But, so they're fighting. It looks like Travis and Madison are fighting. Travis, who ended up last season, really, him shooting the ex must have been what gave him his nuts. Because maybe she had them, and he got them back from her at death. I don't know. Maybe that was maybe she willed them back to him.
Rectal matter over vagina.
Maybe. I don't know. But because he was a bit of a bitch last season.
Yeah.
And then this season, he's like, Madison, listen to me. We're doing whatever it takes to protect my family. You're going to shut up and you're going to like it. I'm like, I like this guy.
You don't want to get kicked off that boat either.
Well, that's true, too. Well, here's the thing. Strand is only one man. And I think that all the rest of them stand together. So, if anybody's getting kicked off, eventually it'll be Strand. And they'll just take the boat from him.
I think if he walked away from the captain's station now, he would take the damn key with him.
Maybe. And what's it do? Because he hasn't slept in like 3 days. I feel like I haven't slept in 3 days either, but he hasn't slept in 3 days. What is the deal? Well, we'll get to that. Family dynamic. Travis and Madison are fighting. Chris and Travis are fighting. Nick and Alicia, who looked like they were getting close at the end of last season, have seemed to float apart. And I think that's because Nick is getting closer to Strand, and Alicia doesn't like it. She doesn't like Strand. She doesn't like anything about it. But meanwhile, Nick like rolls over and is going after what's his name's daughter, Ophelia. Mm-hmm. Is that her? Yeah, the young one's Ophelia. And he's like, oh, you know, first of all, did Ophelia get bit? That's my big question. Did she get bit or did she just get hurt? What happened to her chest?
I'm assuming she just got hurt.
Yeah.
Because they know if you get bit, you turn. If you die, you turn.
That's gotta be the, so it's gotta be an injury. I don't remember her getting hurt. But his whole like, yeah, if you want, I can help you bandage that up. He was basically saying, hey, if you want, you can take your shirt off and I'll put some ointment on your chest and then we'll see where it goes from there. So, I mean, we say family unit, but everybody but Strand has basically become one big family. Travis even said that to Chris. Chris is like, these strangers, and Travis is like, they're family now. So, not only is it weird that Nick and Alicia were about to get it on, because they're not blood relatives, but they did live in the same house. But now Ophelia and Nick have this like weird dynamic going on. Travis obviously lost the other half of his triangle, so it's just him and Madison now. And Grandpa stands alone, and he's got eyes on Strand. Daniel's got eyes on Strand. So super weird stuff going on. My question for you is this. What is the deal with Strand?
I'm starting to think maybe because he knew about shit happening, and they even mentioned again about him having his shit packed and ready to go when they got there.
Yeah.
I think he might have been like some kind of government official. And that's because he said he was in the cage because he made sure he went there. So, he had a reason
from everybody else.
He had a reason to be there. He had his shit packed and ready to go when he got to the house.
Boat was there. Everything was ready to go. I think there's more to Strand, and I think we're going to find out about it. And the previews of this season on Fear the Walking Dead, there was a couple little inklings in there, and I can't point to anything exactly, but I got the feeling that there is more to Strand than we know. That he knew something was about to happen, and I'm wondering if they're about to take this in the direction of explaining how the entire zombie apocalypse happened.
That would be an interesting one.
Yeah. that maybe we have like an explanation that it's more than just because Eugene was bullshitting everybody and saying that it was genetic experiments. Is that what he said? Gone awry.
I think so.
They turn it on, and therefore you can turn it off. If we get to DC, I know how to turn it off, and we'll be fine. I think it would be super ironic if it turns out that Eugene's bullshit is actually right. That he's crazy and he was just trying to save himself, but it turns out that Strand is some kind of government agent, and he's right. That the zombie
Eugene does have some smart fucking moments, so you never know.
And the problem is he may never know, unless Carol, as we said last week, Carol continues going west and somehow gets to San Diego and runs into our group out there. So, bit of a cold-hearted moment at the beginning with the boat. My question for you is this. Do you take anybody from that boat on?
No.
Now, was that the same boat that we saw later? I had an inkling that it was, but it seemed like there was, like, the boat we saw at the beginning was packed with people. Mm-hmm. And the one at the end didn't seem like it was packed. It was more like what we have with our crew, so...
The one at the end also looked like it was bigger.
Yeah,
and the one we seen in the middle of the episode almost looked like it was just some giant-ass fucking raft and they were floating.
Everybody was piling on it?
Yep.
But, Nick got the book that said yacht log on it. So clearly I think that it was a different kind of boat, but...
Sailboat, maybe?
Maybe. But, do you make that tough decision to say, no, nobody on, we're going to go?
Hell no, why would you? You're what, eight, 9 people on a boat? In the middle of the ocean?
No food. But you got water, because you have the desalination. So,
and you can always boil seawater, so...
And you got a power plant with engines and fuel, clearly. How much, I don't know, but...
Fishing.
Flash said that she thinks that Strand was just a prepper. Maybe so, but I feel like to be ready to go at that time and to tell Nick, I'm in here because I chose to be in here, basically saying I wanted to be I'm in here to be protected from what's out there, not because I did something wrong. And then for him to have the bag ready, because remember, when they showed up at Strand's house, he wasn't packing a bag. He grabbed the bag that was already packed and tossed like the picture frame on top and a couple of things, but not packing a bag. And then boat was right there, and it doesn't seem like a place where you would normally dock a boat. It was just basically that it moved there and it was waiting for him. So I feel like there's more than that. And I do hope that they explain more about that, especially more about the universe itself, about how everything happened. And here's a question for you. Does it ruin The Walking Dead if they do?
I don't think it would.
I mean, if you know that it was some kind of government experiment gone awry, does that change the way you feel about The Walking Dead?
No. Because that would just be confirming what Eugene said.
Right.
Which, in a way, would tie the 2 episodes together.
And does it change the path? I mean, because if it is something like that, then it is reversible. And there's something they could do.
He could have been lying about the reversible part, though.
Well, no, but if you can turn it on, you can turn it off. That's the way that it works. So, like I said, it may be that he was right, and he has no idea that he was right.
Because if you go back to the Walking Dead Season 1 finale, the lab doctor was working on a cure.
Right.
And about the time he came up with something to fix it, there was contamination in the lab, and the lab exploded.
Yeah.
And ruined all the data. And of course, from that point, everything's shutting off everywhere. There's nothing left. No way to do those experiments over.
And the whole CDC blew up.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I hope that they explain a little more about the universe itself. Strand, I have some suspicions about. But, like I said, I like Travis's new nutting up potential. Flash has 2 different time periods. I'm not sure what you mean there, Flash. I mean, obviously, Fear the Walking Dead is taking place kind of while Rick is passed out. But there will eventually come a time where these 2 groups are existing in the same time period. Essentially, Fear the Walking Dead will catch up to Season 1 of The Walking Dead. And they're doing a kind of a... it's on the low key, but they're doing a Better Call Saul thing. You probably don't watch Better Call Saul. But,
I gotta catch up.
But, so it's the prequel to Breaking Bad. So, like, when they're using cell phones, they're using, like, 2002 cell phones. And it's very subtle stuff like that. Like, when you see her whip out the 2002 cell phone, you're like, damn, that's an old phone. But then you realize Breaking Bad started in 2006. So if this is 4 years ahead of time, you have to find a phone from 2002 for it to make sense. And I think there are little things that are showing that this is happening in 2010, back when The Walking Dead started.
And that's when smartphones just really started coming up.
Right, and you notice that the kids have not really said anything about their smartphones. If that zombie apocalypse was to happen today, Alicia would be bitching every 5 minutes about not being able to get on her phone.
I think if a zombie apocalypse happened today, half the kids in the world would probably kill themselves.
Well, they'd probably just get eaten because they'd be like, yeah, the Twitter said something's going on.
Pretty much.
They look up. Flash says there's also different music too in Better Call Saul. There is. I don't know if you mean from Breaking Bad or from Fear the Walking Dead, but or The Walking Dead. But I dig the music in Better Call Saul. You should watch it. It's really good. So
I still gotta catch Into the Badlands. I watched the first 2 episodes, and then because remember we were gonna try to do podcasts on that one, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I gotta watch those episodes too. Oh, the problem was that they were running them while we were doing this. Yeah, that's right. They put them in a gap.
But then we got The Preacher coming up, which it looks like that's starting as soon as this is over.
Sidebar to The Preacher. Did you learn anything about The Preacher from that prequel? Or not prequel, that preview?
Apparently cars can drive themselves in pretty straight lines other than doing a little loop.
I was gonna
while
say,
you're fighting in the back seat.
Why was it even going left and right? Because nobody was touching the wheel. That was super weird. Flash says, yeah, we were making fun of teenagers, says the 2 people tweeting during the episode.
3, because she was tweeting
You were
too.
also tweeting and stealing your tweet. I don't know what tweet I stole from you, Flash, but I did. I'm always working, including while I'm watching Fear the Walking Dead. So I was Kenny was here. We were working on T-shirt ideas. I was tweeting about different new podcasts, different podcasts. Tweeting about this podcast and Zombie Sweat. So if you want to follow along, make sure you follow along at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter.
I don't know how you do it, because that one time I fucking checked my phone and replied to somebody, I missed Daryl getting shot in the shoulder. So
that's what I do, man. That's what I do. About The Preacher, I'm not sure what that's stealing your tweet about The Preacher. I retweeted it. That's not stealing. That's the rules of Twitter. That's how it works. But anyway, so I mean, I've seen a little bit about The Preacher. I guess it'll be one of those things where like you see the first episode and then see how you feel about it. But we'll take it from there. We'll see how it works out.
If it's interesting, I'm sure we'll try to keep up with it.
Yeah.
Because it's also based off a comic book, which would tie right in. And
right.
AMC's doing great with TV shows, just like Netflix.
Hey, AMC is knocking it out of the park. Yes, Flash. Flash is telling you need to learn to multitask.
I have ADHD, it's impossible.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's not good at multitasking. He's barely good at focusing on one thing. So, you got to do that. But
I mean, come on, I was in the shop cleaning this afternoon. About a little after 5. Well, the one camera that sits right behind the register, Nate can look at it through his phone.
Right.
And talk to me through it. Well, I always got music playing in the background.
Right.
I just start hearing this weird noise, and then I stopped the music. And I walked over towards the register, and I heard Kenny. I was like, Nate?
That would creep me the fuck out.
He's like, just trying to fuck with you. I was like, man, I just spent 5 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck that sound was. You screwed me up, man.
Speaking of the shop, always big fans of Oasis Vapor here in Denton. Kenny works there on weekends, so if you want to meet the star of Dirty Shore Underground, the easiest way to do that is to head down to Oasis Vapor on North 6th Street in Denton, Maryland. It's just off of 404. You can't miss it. You take the exit for 313 and 616. It's on the right-hand side. You're going to see a Burger King and a McDonald's. It's in the big red building, right in the middle of that building, right in between them. You really can't miss it. And we are big fans of Oasis Vapor, and they are big fans of ours, and we really appreciate all the support that they've given to us. Nate down at the shop has always been one of our biggest fans, and we appreciate that. So whether you're trying to quit smoking like me, whether you're starting out and getting into cloud culture like Kenny.
God damn, that was a good cloud.
That was a good one. Or whether you are really deep into the culture, anything that you need, all the equipment is available right there at Oasis Vapor, including they are one of 25 shops in the country that sells
the Rogue McMod.
The Rogue McMod, which is only available at 25 places. One of those places is Oasis Vapor in Denton, Maryland. And make sure you check out our Thursday episode because Kenny's going to give a full review or a full commentary on his week with Fog Dog Coils. So, anyway, big thank you to Nate and everybody down at Oasis Vapor. Make sure you check out Oasis Vapor on Facebook. The link will be in the show notes. And it's worth the drive wherever you are to Oasis Vapor in Denton. Best products, best service, best people. Check out Oasis Vapor. So, I should take a big drag and a big cloud.
So that one sucked because I was thinking about it then.
What are you looking for in the next episode of Fear the Walking Dead?
Not the boat to be shot all the hell.
Well, and so I think that there's been enough promo that we know that they are on a boat for several episodes. The problem I realized when I saw this pirate thing developing is we don't know. They could be taken hostage onto another boat. It doesn't seem like these guys are the hostage type, but they've got a couple of pretty girls with them, and that's where hostage situations arise. Maybe Jack Sparrow doesn't take pretty girls as hostages, but every other pirate in the world does.
He just takes the rum hostage.
Look at me. I am your captain now. Obviously we don't know that they sail on their boat. Strand says we can only get 25 or 20 knots. That boat's making 25 knots, so they can't outrun them.
And you don't even know if that's full speed.
Can't outrun them. They can't outgun them, clearly, because that boat had some large caliber holes in it. So I guess we'll have to see what happens.
Or a lot of silverware on board.
Could be.
Sorry, I can't help the Pirates of the Caribbean references tonight.
And I think that'll be a good reveal about Strand too. How he deals with this situation will be a big thing about, is he trained or is he a prepper? Because I think a prepper is still going to react the same way. He can be calm under pressure, but he's still going to act mostly the same way that a normal person would. A trained government agent is going to act way differently. If he flips a blinking red light on the dash and big engines pop out of the back of the boat and it goes pushing off like Men in Black, I think it's safe to say he's a government agent. So we'll have to see how that all shakes out. Nick annoys me less this season. I'm liking him. I don't know why.
Still needs to change his fucking clothes. And
he needs to take a shower. He even got in the water and got back out. And I'm like, dude, you still look dirty. How is that possible?
It's the grandpa clothes.
Maybe it is. And maybe he just needs to change his clothes and everything will be different. But he's annoying me less. And I think that's it could be because Junkie's really annoying me. And he's looking less junkie-like. He's acting less junkie-like. He's talking about being in recovery and less about, getting high. And, we had all those judgments last season about him hiding the pills, pocketing the pills. I don't know what happened to that, but I don't see him now being that same person.
It's harder to get a hold of.
Well, and I think that he genuinely cleaned up. And now he's getting his life to... And now, Strand is... Even though he's kind of an asshole and we don't know anything about him, he looks like he's taking Nick under his wing and saying, you're meant to be here. How many times could you have died? But you didn't. You survived. Now, that's got to be for a reason.
And he looked at it like being a junkie,
yeah.
Strand said, no, that's being fearless. Whether you think so or not.
Stupidly fearless, but fearless nonetheless. Travis is nutting up. I'm enjoying that. He's telling Madison what's what. Madison... is starting to annoy me more, but I think that's also, part of the thing is that they're giving us a great experience of being trapped on this boat. Because imagine being stuck on a boat for weeks with your mom. I think that, yeah, exactly. And I think
2 days at tops.
I think that when I see Madison on the boat, I'm getting that sense of you're turning into the annoying mom. Stop it. So.
Why would anybody want to see that?
Flash says that apparently she wants to see Nick and Daryl take a shower together. That would cumulatively make everybody crazy, except for I'm not sure that Nick wants to take a shower with Daryl now because he's going to be lacking in a skull thanks to Negan. By the way, there was an interview this week where they asked Strand whether or not he thought he was the Negan of this season. And he's like, Negan's a bad guy. I don't think I'm a bad guy. I think that in the Walking Dead universe there's a spectrum of people, And Rick kind of floats all over that spectrum. Sometimes he is like, we kill them all and like God sort them out, and sometimes he's like farming and saying he doesn't kill anybody. I found it interesting because I think, though, that it's what we talked about last week, that if you followed Negan's crew all along, you would understand his rules and you would be like, who are these assholes who are killing all our people? I think there's a chance that this group is going to be like them. That
we
Strand,
just want half your shit and we'll make sure you're protected.
Well, and that Strand says that. Like, look, we have a boat. We have all the water you could possibly drink. That's what you need. You have food. We need food. Give us half your shit. You can come live on our boat, which clearly has plenty of space, and you can have water. That's an even trade. And so we might be seeing a little bit of that, like, different side of the world. I mean, Strand gives out the Fight Club rules. Rule number 1, it's my boat. Rule number 2, it's my boat. And if rule number 1 and number 2 are unclear, rule number 3, it's my boat.
It's my goddamn boat.
My goddamn boat. So, I mean, I think that is very Negan-esque. That, like, here are the rules. They are very clear. You do what I say, you're fine. If not, what do you say? I'm more likely to kick people off the boat than to take people on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that there is a possibility that's the direction they're going. And I like that idea that...
He said it was like, if I stop, people are getting off, not getting on.
I like the idea that it's natural to identify with the people you know better. I mean, clearly, like, the mean girls in school, this is a great example, I think, because I talked to a couple of girls who were mean girls. I'm friends with them now, but in high school, they were the mean girls. And they're like, we weren't the mean girls. And then when I sit down with them and other people from our high school, they're like, no, you were definitely the mean, bitchy girls. And they're like, no, of course we weren't. We were friends and we all hung out, but we weren't mean girls. That's because from their perspective, they weren't. I mean, bullies know that they're bullies. But the popular kids, the mean girls, they didn't necessarily know that that's what they were. They were just their friends doing their thing. So I think it's possible we're seeing that. Strand is going to take this group in a Negan sort of direction, and now we're going to see what it's like to be in that group. And it'll be really funny if they stumble across a group of survivors that's like democratic, and they take votes on things, and then we just watch them eliminate them.
Somebody with the dictatorship.
Yeah, dictatorship, but like, not even a dictatorship, like, because it was never a dictatorship. It was Rick making decisions, but let me ask Michelle, let me ask Daryl, let me ask Carol, let me get some feedback before I do something. So we may stumble on a group that's like that, and our crew that we like in Fear the Walking Dead just takes them out. And so we'll be able to see it from a different perspective. I like that. I like that idea. So we'll see.
Expectations for the rest of the season?
I am hoping that it picks up. That's really all.
Do you have a confirmation on how many episodes?
8.
Is that for the entire season?
No, well, it's half season.
So they're doing 16 now.
They've been, as far as I know, they've been cleared for an entire 16 episode arc. That was the second season that got picked up. So much like The Walking Dead, season 1 on The Walking Dead was 6 episodes? 8 episodes.
8.
And then we had season 2 that was 2 sets of 8 episodes.
So
same deal.
Front half ends, Preacher starts. Then
I don't know.
Probably comes back after. Well,
see,
depending.
they haven't released the schedule.
Yeah.
Everyone's assuming we have to wait till October for The Walking Dead because
they
always wait till
They
October.
already said October.
Did they? I didn't know that AMC announced it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so yeah, it might be that we have this like Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Preacher, summer other thing that we don't know.
Maybe that's when they bring Into the Badlands back.
Maybe.
So they can get those other 8 episodes off in the last episodes right before Walking Dead goes back.
Right, and then we start rotating around. But I mean, also it's possible that we start mixing the stuff in because remember, Into the Badlands was running at the same time as The Walking Dead, so it may be that Fear the Walking Dead runs sometime before that we have like The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Walking Dead, and that's how they start running the season. So we'll see, but that'll get us to the end of season 2 of the Fear the Walking Dead before season 7 starts. So maybe we can try and catch up on some of this time. That would be nice to see.
I believe it'll pick up.
Hopefully.
It looks like it's heading that direction. Like you said, they had to explain a lot of shit, obviously, right off the get-go. So
yeah, they got to get them on the boat. That's the hardest thing is they got to get them on the boat. They have to establish the dynamic of the boat, and they have to have us be afraid of whatever's going to happen next. So that's how you do it. It's you find the boat that's been capsized. Now we know somebody's coming. The slow build of the leash on the thing where we're all like, stop fucking talking to him. That kind of stuff.
And if there's anything we've learned from 6 seasons of Walking Dead, you have to have your slow episodes.
Yeah.
Because it makes you appreciate the action one so much more.
I hate when they shouldn't be the first episode of the season.
No.
You really should.
But it happens, and it's happened with Walking Dead multiple times.
When I would say that the good thing is that they could have taken an entire episode of them getting to the boat, which makes me think that there's probably a lot of action this season because they really went directly from blackout, or here's the first scene to on the boat within the first commercial break. Mm-hmm. So they're not bullshitting around. They needed us to get to the boat for some reason. I'm hoping it's a good reason. So we'll see. But like I said, the actors are growing on me. The characters are growing on me, and I'm hoping that it's a little more dynamic than last year. Because Karina hated Nick, and I'm sure she'll still hate him just to hate him. I also did not like Nick, but I'm starting to warm up to him. So hopefully that continues.
I don't think any of us liked him last season because we were all rooting for him to die the entire season.
We were.
So.
We were. But yeah, so any other final thoughts?
Other than it being slow, it was pretty decent. I enjoyed it, even with it being slow for the first 15, 20 minutes. Obviously, we've seen that it was building up to something, and I think we're going to find out next episode exactly who this radio love interest is.
Yeah.
With their pirate ways, because I think they're probably the pirates.
The other thing I'm really excited to see is how they tie in Flight 642 with The Walking Dead, or with Fear the Walking Dead.
Yes, because we've seen the plane in the preview for next week.
So so we know that the plane's coming in somehow, and we know from the news that one of the characters from the web series is going to show up in the show. So
either they touch land at some point next week, or they do back and forth like they've done with Walking Dead.
It could be, and we have 2 groups coming, and then those 2 groups eventually find each other. So exciting to see. So we'll stay. Flash says the plane is going to crash in the ocean. I would agree with you, except for there are scenes where the plane is actually on land in the preview. Flash. So and also it's almost impossible to survive a water landing on an airplane. Almost all survivors come from plane crashes on land. So there's my nerddom for the day. But the other thing that I'm looking forward to, new episode of the podcast coming this Thursday. Make sure you go to dirtyshowunderground.com. New episodes this and every Thursday. Bonus episodes Monday or Tuesdays. Again, we're going to do Fear the Walking Dead for the next 7 weeks, so make sure you check that out. Make sure you're following at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You'll get out all the newest information, all the most updated information, including pictures of the Fog Dog coils, if you're following at Dirty Shore UG on Instagram. And you'll get links to the live stream, because we live stream every single episode at youtube.com/c/Dirty Shore UG -OTA, where you can participate, become part of the podcast, just like Flash has today. So make sure you join us there. And if you're following, you can come in and live stream with us and be more than just a listener. Be part of the podcast. So looking forward to that. Otherwise, look for a new episode this Thursday. Yeah.
How's Uber been treating you? Because we haven't said anything about that in weeks.
I am so tired because I'm driving so much, but it's been really good. I'm looking forward to wedding season picking up around here, so I don't have to go to Baltimore all the time. So I can actually stick around here.
Ocean City is about ready to get lit again. So
I was going to say, and it'll be nice to be here during the summer so I can go to Ocean City. I know Matt's been going down. It's been kind of hit or miss. But if you're looking to drive, seriously, I'm picking up an extra $2,000 a month working or driving for Uber. You can't beat it. Now I got the credit card, so it's paying for my gas. I'm getting gas discounts. Basically, all my gas gets paid for before I even get it. So I'm making $400 a week after my gas gets paid for, all the gas for the week. So you can't beat that. If you're interested in driving for Uber, all you gotta do is shoot me an email, uberwithrob@gmail.com, uberwithrob@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to send you an invitation. When you join with a driver invitation, you actually get a bonus after 25 rides. So I think it's up to like $50, $75 now. So
did you start an email account just for that?
I did. Yeah, because I want people to be able to reach out. And I mean, I've got 10 or 15 drivers now who are now driving, and everybody's making money. It's
out of
really
curiosity, how many email accounts do you even have?
Do you really want to see my phone?
I don't want to see your phone. I just.
No, I'll show you. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Like, if I open up Gmail, let me just click over to the.
I just gotta see because I know he's a busy. Yeah, fuck that. I have 4 and that's too many.
I got accounts for everything that I got going on, so it's a lot of stuff. But all right, so look for a new episode this Thursday. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next time. Have a great week.
Good night, everybody. Buy Rob's books.